There is a beautiful home in a faraway land where the saints of God are gathering. Hear the sweet melodies they are singing unto the Lord. Oh, they are giving him praises forevermore. Alan Kemarama, Ebeti Aya, Ebende Sobi, Alewuti, Noro Aputo, Anabukuru Juku, Aneye Aekele, Rebi Ebi, Yo Koko, Yo Koko, Yo Koko, Yo Koko. Yo coco coco, yo coco, yo coco coco, yo coco.
Hello everybody. Once again, this is Fred Wamko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Allen TV. And as usual, I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are around the world. Folks, I like sounding like a broken record. The reason is that the forces we're going against and their propaganda is powerful. And with little people like me, we have to keep coming at them with how we got to where we are today. And by the way, I'm not advocating for Biafra. I believe in one Nigeria, but I'm gonna keep reminding the Fulani and Nigerians who fought with Fulani against Biafra. I'm gonna keep reminding them of Biafra and reminding them that what Igbos fought in 1967 is still haunting Nigeria till today.
Let me tell you what they will do to Igbo this time. What Oba of Lagos said that we are pushing them to the ocean. Most of these markets that are banning in Lagos, look at it, they are Igbo-dominated markets. You get me? In fact, some Yorubas were telling me when I was in Lagos last weekend that it is we, the Northerners, when we are in charge of Lagos as federal capital, that open room for Igbos to come and dominate them. And it's over now. And it's over. All the businesses Igbos are doing, we are going to bring it and do it. Do you get me? That's why Buhari have to sign that Lagos is going to be given special status. We are going to have a kind of semi-regional system. Lagos is going to have special status. It means nobody again will control Lagos. The indigenes of Lagos are the ones that are going to control Lagos. They can form land policies. Do you get me? They may decide to say, you as a Yoruba man in Lagos, you'll pay 5,000 naira per annum for a land. As naira in. Me as a Hausa man, I will pay 10,000 naira. Igbo man will pay 1 million naira. And I'm telling you, after 4 years, at least not we are liberal, but in the southwest, after 4 years, Igbos can never be useful, relevant again in the southeast.
Why was that segment relevant? Folks, I keep telling you, there's a method to my madness. That segment is relevant because I told you guys, Nigeria hides its history. The only way you fix those problems is for people like us to keep amplifying and replaying the bigotry that is killing Nigeria and the prejudices of the leaders we have who go out to the public gallery and tell beautiful stories. But the only way you can measure what they are going to do is to keep replaying who they are. Kashim Shettima cannot change who he is. If you listen to the next person who is going to speak, and he's a Fulani man, his sources tell him that a sitting governor in Nigeria is the leader of Boko Haram. That video you're going to hear next is not current. It was done in 2021 or 2022. And at the time, Kashim Shettima was a governor in Nigeria. Igbos say, use your tongue to count your teeth. Listen.
And the truth. And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria. Don't joke with what I'm saying. I have a PhD from Oxford University. I'm a central banker. We don't talk nonsense.
You said northern governors, past or present, Dr. Badaya?
No, current. No, they said one of them is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria.
The biggest collaborators with the Fulani cabal in this their jihad agenda in Nigeria are Tinubu's Yoruba bigots, not Yoruba people, Yoruba bigots, and the cabal pocketed Igbos who have been paid off heavily, get all kinds of contracts to sabotage everything that's going on in Igbo land. A Yoruba person inboxed me. First of all, he starts out very rude. Fred, you don't like Yorubas. You're just jealous of Yorubas. Why are you always talking about Tinubu? What did Tinubu do? He accuses me of the market in Nigeria by the things I say about Tinubu. Abolo burukuni boboy. Emin di market Nigeria. Mondi market Nigeria and tokwe mo sokwe drug dealer ni drug dealer. Ntokwe mo sokwe a certificate forger is a certificate forger. Iyanikwe mondi market Nigeria. How am I the market in Nigeria? Tinubu is a drug dealer. Is he not? Tinubu is a certificate forger. Is he not? Bandits are taking over Nigeria. It started under Buhari. It has continued under Tinubu. And it's worse under Tinubu. Under Buhari, he pretended he wanted to defend Abuja. Under Tinubu, bandits are going into people's houses in Abuja and kidnapping families. A young lady, a first-class student, that just graduated was killed. Her and her family were abducted, and she was killed because the ransom didn't come fast enough. This person criticizing me is a Yoruba person. The first class student that was killed was a Yoruba young lady, brilliant Yoruba lady. The family that was abducted that I'm talking about is a Yoruba family. So what makes me not like Yoruba people, because I talked about the atrocities going on in Nigeria under the watch of a president that rigged himself into office and doesn't know what to do with the office he rigged himself into. Is Tinubu not a drug dealer? Are Yoruba people proud to have a Yoruba person who is a drug dealer as president of Nigeria? I don't think so. Not Awolowo's Yoruba people. But yes, Tinubu's fellow dubious people will want him in there at all cost. I defend Yoruba people and the greatness of Yoruba people. Koni dafun bobo yo. Why don't you let me do my job? Buhari and Tinubu are not the first presidents that have been rigged into office in Nigeria. I'm not proud of rigging the election. But at least when you get there, pretend you want to work for Nigerians. Buhari started Nigeria on a downslide, and Tinubu has continued. I'm no longer talking about the fact that he rigged himself into office, which he did. I'm now talking about that Nigeria is dying under his watch. And his only interest is money, money, money going to him and his cronies. Bandits are taking over the country. Inflation is high. Unemployment is high. Petrol is high. Name what's going on well in Nigeria. What makes Tinubu something Yorubas need to be proud of? Chief Obafemi Awolowo was somebody Nigerians need to be proud of. Tinubu is somebody Nigerians should be ashamed of. And then this guy is telling me nonsense about it seems like my show is always happy that Nigeria is having these problems. Did I play any role in the problem Nigeria is having today? Besides the Yoruba guy, some Igbo guy, he has blocked me. He doesn't get my things anymore, but he followed me for about 2 years. And he'll always ask me, don't you think you are demarketing Nigeria? And by the way, he's APC, the cabal pocketed Igbos. Don't you think you are demarketing Nigeria? Demarketing Nigeria. I'm demarketing Nigeria, but a drug dealer, a certificate forger, who is the president you're defending as an Igbo person, you're not ashamed of yourself. The president you're defending is a drug dealer and a certificate forger that claims he fought for democracy. Let's look at Tinubu's trajectory when he was in exile in America. What was Tinubu doing? Doesn't that coincide with when he was selling drugs? Running drugs? Go and look at the people who were part of Nadeco that fought for Nadeco to bring down Abacha. Tell me how many of the good Nadeco members participated in politics post-1999. And go and check all the Nadeco fighters of Abacha, like Bola Ahmed Tinubu. All of them are crooks that were in the fight to create clout and go into office and rip Nigeria off. And they systematically frustrated the good NADECO members out of politics. It's time to start telling the history of Nigeria. That's what I'm doing. From the Muritala Mohammeds who massacred Asaba people. Asaba people did not fight with Biafra. They fought on the side of Nigeria. But simply because they are Igbos, Mohammed went into Asaba and massacred Igbos that were fighting on Nigeria's side. And what does Nigeria do today? Celebrate Muritala Mohammed. His face is on currency notes. An airport is named after him. He's a hero in Nigeria. And you guys don't know when the jihad started? Very, very soon, Buhari's face and Tinubu's face will be on Naira notes in Nigeria. And you expect to raise a new generation of angels in Nigeria. If we don't fight this cabal, Nigeria is going to be worse than Afghanistan. The laundering of Buhari's image already started with his chief liar when he was in office. Whatever that guy's name is, I forgot, that wrote a book on him. That's the sickness of the country we call home today. And the press sits back and say nothing about it and come out tomorrow to say social media doesn't carry reliable news. Tell me one thing you've heard on this show that is not more reliable than anything you'll find anywhere in Nigeria. And that's why I keep bringing up the fact about how Igbos were massacred in the north before the war, and Nigerians pretended they didn't see it, and they were brainwashed by this Fulani cabal. Eventually, what did the Fulani cabal do to the Benue people who fought Igbos with them? They went in and started massacring Nigerians in Benue. What did they do with the Plateau people that fought Biafra with them? They went in and started massacring people in Plateau. What did they do to the Taraba people and the Adamawa people who fought with them in Nigeria against Igbos? They went in and started massacring them. What did they do with the Hausas who led them into Nigeria and fought with them against Igbos? They are still killing Hausa Christians in southern Kaduna, not Igbo Christians, not Yoruba Christians. What are Fulanis doing in Yoruba land now? They are killing your monarchs. They are kidnapping your children. We should all come together as southern Nigerians, Igbos, Yorubas, Edos, Edomas, Thieves, Ibibios, Ijos, Uro. We need to come together and fight the Fulani cabal. We don't have to fight the Fulanis who are liberal Fulanis, but the cabal has to be stopped if Nigeria is going to survive. Shamefully, the same Fulani cabal are killing Fulanis in the north. The Chibok girls were not Igbo girls. They were not Yoruba girls. They are Hausa and Fulani girls. These idiots kill their own people. And as a Yoruba person, you think you're collaborating with them? Tinubu is, because they are selling him Nigeria while they do their jihad, and he says nothing. They kill Yorubas, he defends the Fulani. And a Yoruba person wants to call me to complain that I'm happy that Nigeria is Ukoni Dafmuel. How can somebody who calls himself a believer in their Awolowo doctrine turn around and be supporting a drug dealer and a certificate forger? Is that what Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the legend, taught you? Don't you think that you're just so bigoted you're confused? If you're a Yoruba person and you support Awolowo and you're supporting Tinubu, there's something wrong with your head because you're totally confused and you don't know what Nigeria is all about and you don't know what Awolowo's dream is all about. What makes you think you like Yoruba people more than I do? Don't you think you're bringing shame to the greatness of Yoruba people in Nigeria by supporting a drug dealer? Did any Igbo person defend the Fulani herdsmen that killed the Afenifere chieftain's daughter? Every Igbo that spoke on it criticized what the herdsmen did. But the Tinubu you supported what the herdsmen did because he did not defend the Afenifere man's daughter that was killed. Instead, he said, how do you know that it's Fulani herdsmen? The whole evidence shows that the Fulani herdsmen killed him. I'm sick and tired of holding back. It's time for Nigerians to stop being wimps. It's time to fight this cabal that we have in Asher Rock, head to head. Or else we are in for 8 years of suffering. And it does not discriminate. When those Fulani herdsmen come, they don't discriminate against the the cabal-pocketed Igbo man who is wealthy. They don't, when they get your children, they are killing. They get your mom, they are killing. They get your cousins, they are killing. The same thing applies to the Yoruba bigots in the West. And Tinubu, when those bullets are flying, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't say, oh, let's kill the progressive Yoruba's children, but leave the Tinubu supporters. No. You're calling me or sending me a message to say, oh, Fred, why are you always talking about Tinubu? I'm talking about Tinubu because he's a drug dealer. I'm talking about Tinubu because he did not win an election. So because I talk about Tinubu, I don't like Yoruba people. The Yorubas who are honest and my friends, I don't like them because I don't like Tinubu. I like Awolowo, but I don't like Tinubu. I like Bola Ige. Bola Ige is not an Igbo man, he's a Yoruba man. How many times have you stood up to ask questions about how did Bola Ige die? Did an Igbo man kill Bola Ige? A Yoruba man killed Bola Ige in Bola Ige's house. Did an Igbo man kill Funshaw Williams? A Yoruba man killed Funshaw Williams in Funshaw Williams' house. Have you gone to investigate to find out those things? The people you support may be responsible for killing your great Yoruba sons. And you're interested in, he's saying it because he's an Igbo man. He doesn't like Tinubu. Kò ní dá fún ẹ. Lord Buruku. I know I've been venting. Every once in a while, a man has to vent. With my kind of show, sometimes I really need to put my foot down. I need the followers. I need to build this channel because I know that what I'm doing is good for good Nigerians. But it comes a time when I have to put my foot down. My commentary is not for everybody. You don't have to watch. But if you cross me, I may not say anything for a year. But when I have it to my neck, I'm going to tell you where I stand. I really, really cry for our country. I cry for our country, Nigeria. I don't cry for our country because of what the Fulani cabal is doing and what the Tinubu cabal are doing and what the cabal-pocketed Igbos are doing in the East and the Onyesom Wikes and all that. That's not why I cry for Nigeria. I've written those people off. they too shall pass. We, the people, are going to be victorious in the end. I cry for Nigeria because Igbos and Yorubas are chasing shadows with their myopic interests instead of focusing on the big picture. The rest of Nigeria's progressives are waiting for progressive Igbos and Yorubas to take the bull by the horn and take their country back. If we come together and fight as a united team of Nigerians, led by Igbos and Yorubas, not because we're better, but because we have more numbers, and our numbers in unison fighting for a common interest will galvanize the rest of the people. If the Igbos and Yorubas and Hausas come together, who the hell are the Fulani cabal? Within the Fulani, you have Fulani progressives, but they are choked by the cabal. If we could come together and show a purpose, all those hiding Fulani progressives will have a reason to lift their heads up. We can build paradise in Nigeria, but we can only build paradise in Nigeria if we work together as a unified group of Igbos and Yorubas and Hausas and Edos and Urobos and Ibibios, and you know what I'm saying. If we build paradise in Nigeria, we're going to go ahead and build paradise in Africa. The resources are in Africa. The reason we're not making the best of our resources is because we are not united. If we unite, we don't have to withhold resources from the West and the East. I don't mean Nigeria, I mean the Eastern world and the Western world. We'll just have to negotiate with them and say, we're willing to sell you what we have, but we have to work on terms that benefits us and benefits you. Divided, they're stealing our resources and we're doing nothing about it. We're killing ourselves. This is simply food for thought. I apologize for the explosion, but every once in a while, a man has to push back. And before I get into my concluding notes, let me take this moment and say, please don't forget to share, subscribe, like, and make your comments. Your feedback is the only way we can grow. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Nwanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on LNTV. And until next time, good night and God bless.